No,
I'm
I'm
gonna stay.
pointing straight.
I was
I'm
gonna
doing
say.
it
I was gonna
straight
stay silent just as long to see if you would start or not.
into the camera. Start. What is that? Some kind of Cylon trick? You think you can't play mind games on me, man? It doesn't work.
We've
Okay.
injected you
I
with
am.
nanites already in the form of
You
a
didn't do no such
vaccine.
thing,
So
Mister. You can. Yeah, whatever. All right. Calm yourself down, man. Jeez. That's how you're gonna start the show with talking Cylon. That's your thing, right?
uh, is there any other way to talk? I mean, I'm gonna start reciting Cylon poetry next.
Oh, that means you're a criminal.
That's right.
You're the lowest of the low. Oh boy. Well, Interfleet Broadcasting, we are on the air. Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We have with us today, right off the bat, mediocre modeler Ramon RZ and Sean, of course, Sean Shallow. Thank you for joining. And Ramon says, good evening to you, Ramon RZ, Razor Ramon, bum. All right. So we have a lot of stuff coming up, Chris. We got some good things cooking.
We always have good things cooking.
Oh yeah, we sure do. We sure
You
do.
smell what the
Sean
Rock
says-
is cooking. Wait, that's the wrong one.
No, it's the wrong character, man.
Yeah, wrong
Get it?
character there.
Jeez. You better put the third brain in or take it off. I don't know what to tell you. Sean's up. What's up, fellas? What's up, Sean? Look, there's some exciting news that we kind of posted something up just today. So I'm going to bring that up. But before we get into it, Interfleet Broadcasting, news and entertainment. Welcome, everyone. We are going to jump into sci-fi and, of course, Battlestar Galactica. And we will not, I repeat, we will not be disparaging to Galactica 1980 because I know there are fans that are watching. So Galactica 1980 tonight gets the pass. Lola's watching, Chris.
Oh, Lola.
Come on. Let it out.
Oh, you can start it.
Oh,
Her
you
name
always
was
start it.
Lola.
Okay.
She
All right,
was a
that's enough.
showgirl
That's as far as you go.
with
All right.
yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut up to
you-
there.
You memorized the first line. Good for you. So, Chris, listen.
His name was Rico.
Oh boy, relax. Hey, you got to save some for later or for the next show.
Oh, that's, yeah. Hey, I don't want to scare everybody off with my awesome singing, too, either, so.
Chris, let's toast to the fans. Lola's laughing. Ramon is like, oh. Anyway, so
Ramon has now left the building. Sorry, Ramon.
so Chris, let's do our toast so we can dive right into it because I got some good news I want to talk about.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So
To all of you fans out there that make Battlestar Galactica great, and thank you for joining us. We know that if it wasn't for you, the Galactica would die, and we don't want that to happen. Of course, Pete and I would try to keep it alive as best we could. CPR, Cylon nanites, anything we could do. But we thank you for being there. Thank you for everything that you do. And, of course, stay safe and healthy. We'll do that again at the end. But fans fuel the fleet, and you are the fans. Thank you.
you fuel the fleet. To you guys. All right. So with that, Chris, I wanted to mention some really good news that came up today.
Okay.
Reed Pop, they are the sponsors for various conventions. They announced through email to anyone that's attended any of their shows in the past, they mentioned that they will be hosting the Florida SuperCon, Miami Beach, September 10th through 12th. New York Comic Con is back, baby, and that's October 7th through 10th in New York City. Emerald City, Washington State, December 2nd to 5th, that's in Seattle. And, of course, Chicago Comic-Con, December 10th through 12th. And I've been to Chicago. I've obviously been to Comic-Con, but the Florida one and Emerald City's on my list, man. So, I don't know, this year, Chris, I know you and I had discussed taking IFB on the road. And so we are projecting to be at New York Comic-Con. So we're going to start working on that as
Heck
we
yeah.
speak. And then, I don't know, up for grabs. Chicago is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool con.
I'll be there in 2 weeks. I won't be there for the con, but
Oh, yeah, you're going to be a little early, so you got to scout it out. It's at the McCormick Place. it's probably not where you're going, but
Probably
I've
not.
been dying to get to Emerald City. I got shut out last time 2 years ago, like 3 years ago. They sold out, and so we had to scuttle our plans to go to Seattle. So I was
Well,
headed to
that's
Emerald
something you ought
City.
to consider this time too, is because the
Exactly,
number may
numbers.
be down, so they may
Yes,
not sell as many tickets.
yeah,
So that could be
that
bad.
definitely was announced in the email. It's going to be a hybrid convention. All of them will. So they're going to have to take some certain
Yeah,
measures.
I think that's going to be the norm from now on. I mean, they've
Yeah,
noticed that, and don't get me wrong. I mean, we all want to go to the cons and have fun, but there are some people who just can't make the cons, and this environment with the pandemic and all has given them the ability to, not the ability, but the drive to try to make money on another scale, a virtual scale. So
yeah,
I think it gives the opportunity for some of those that some of us who A can't get tickets or B can't travel to actually participate in some of the cons. I think it's great. I know some people will poo-poo on it a little bit, but it's exciting for people who can't make it to every single con. So maybe you can actually sit in on a couple of boards and listen to things. You know, you don't get the same experience, and not like Dragon Con, you don't get the 2 a.m. in the morning, watch the drunks wander around type thing. It's not that bad, really.
is
It's
that
not
what
that
you
bad.
do? Is that what goes on at Dragon Con?
At Dragon
Is it
Con,
just
about 10 o'clock,
it's a little
it starts to get a little wild. So
it gets a little crazy?
it gets a little
Yeah.
crazy, and it goes all night. You
All right.
can't step out your hotel room and not be a bunch of people out there.
Chris, I got to give you a heads up. We have David Alexander with us. Thank you for joining. And I'm getting a little bit of concern here from the chat saying that our mics might be a little bit low. Dave says
A
he's
little
not
low?
getting
Whose is low?
sound. Yeah.
Yours or mine?
Mine might be
No, you're pretty cranked.
okay. So I mean, I kind of stepped a little closer to the mic. And Dave, I'm
And
not sure. I
mine.
think we're
Check, check. One,
broadcasting.
two.
Hey, Lola, why don't you give us a heads up? How's the sound coming through? Is it okay? Just to make sure. And Ramon, what do you think now? Are we okay? Otherwise, yeah. I mean, look, cons are basically on the go list. So let's keep watching. Let's see what comes up. And I think that I think it's gonna be a new world order out there for a while at least.
Yeah.
So Lola says it's good for me, and
Okay. What
Sean
about
thinks
me?
it's good.
Hello, 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 hello. Check.
I
How do
think
you hear me, Pete?
yeah, you sound good. So
Of course I
I
sound
think
good.
we're oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So let me refocus you a little bit. I'm gonna reprogram you, Chris, because
Oh no.
man, you need you need a little bit of Louisville. Mediocre Modeler says Wonderfest on June 5th in Louisville, Kentucky is still a go. So I don't know,
Hmm.
man.
Wonder who's
It's
going to that.
yeah, I don't know.
Not that I go to cons just to go to see people. I go to cons to see all the fans and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
it's fun to go to a con and see the the actors and the stars. But
It it's best when it's a combo. Once you
yeah,
combined everything, you bring it together. I think that's kind of like the best. That works for me, but it's almost like starting over. It's a new experience, and now that we have IFB cooking, it'll be interesting. Hopefully, we can find a few cons, Chris, that we can meet up with at
that'd
least
be
as
great.
many people as possible. We'd love to do that. We've talked about setting up shop, so that was really good news,
Setting up a
guys. I
table,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I heard that today. It was early this morning when they sent out the email, and I was stoked. So I was really great. So I put up some of the details on the site, on our site, and I don't know. Let's hope that we can all get out there and kind of meet up if we can, and broadcast, and do some more of the show maybe from the road. But anyway, that being said, we have uh Tiny Bean Tara with us, who's going to give
Yes.
us some reviews. So, why don't we just jump
Yeah,
right into that, Chris?
I
What do you
realize
think?
we don't have an intro for her. We need to get one.
Well,
I have to make one.
someone needs to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Sorry,
Or
Tiny Bean Terror.
we're, Oh boy, yeah, you're gonna
Terror
get
is a
re-scrambled
terror,
later.
right? Terror.
Oh my God! All right,
All right.
let it rip, will you,
Let it
sir?
rip. So here we
All right.
go.
Hey,
Great to
See?
see you guys.
It's spelled wrong. Tara. It's supposed to be Terror. I can fix that.
no,
I kind of
stop! What's the
like
matter with
Tiny
you, man?
Terror.
Well, we can all be terrors when needed or called upon. So, uh,
Good.
you have some really cool stuff to intro, and we have some graphics too to go along with some of your reporting. So why don't you take it away?
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a real busy couple. I am plowing my way still through the issues on Netflix. Just finished season, so that leaves 2 more seasons left before I turn around and jump into reading the books. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to that.
Right. We're starting to cut a little bit. Is it me, Pete? Hang on for a second. Tara. Pete, are you seeing the cut, or is it just me? She's breaking up.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. There's some interference. I don't know if it's CYLON technology that's actually.
Let me drop the resolution a little bit. We'll try that.
Just do a little bit of your magic. You got to start moving your fingers faster, Chris, because
Let's try that. It's gonna look bad to you, but it's okay. It's gonna look better to us. How's that? All right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right.
We go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, please.
We're
So,
better.
yeah,
I don't know if
so,
we're good, but
So season 3 of The Magicians, I can tell you 2 awesome highlights. They're in an episode where 2 characters have a conversation almost entirely composed of references, things in sci-fi world, other shows. They use everything from Game of Thrones to X-Men, and they ultimately land Battlestar Galactica, which is boom. That was amazing. They likened one of their characters to Grace Park's storyline in season 1 of the second series of Battlestar. So I was really blown away by that. And like some of these shows do, they throw in some montage stuff from time to time, and they actually do a spot-on recreation of one of my favorites back in the day, Under Pressure, David Bowie and Queen. They test versions.
Under Pressure.
Oh my gosh, you gotta see Pete, I'm gonna send you the link to that from my blog later so everybody can catch that. It's worth seeing. My recap of where I am on that. A great moment for all of us. Do a little plug into the world of the great William Shatner of his 90 years. So in a couple of weeks, I finished reading one of his many books. Shatner is a prolific author, and this book of his is called Live Long and What I Learned Along the Way. It is just delightful. It's sweet and funny. It is just the funniest thing. He tells incredible stories. One of the things that he says as one of learned is always say yes when somebody calls nothing, because you never know what it turned into. And then one of my favorite stories talks about is he's a huge animal lover. He raises horses and dogs, and he tells his story of his favorite dog through the years that he had, and that dog's name was Spock, which I just thought was amazing. So those are my my recap stuff for this week. And for deep dive this week, talk about the very streaming sci-fi fans out there, especially I'm finding on net. Despite a really rather grim article on lifehacker.com about Netflix, the really kind of lackluster stuff. For our purposes, I necessarily agree. I find them putting up some rather offerings and the kind of flew under the radar. Example, I just watched Synchronic. They just put up from 2019. Stars Anthony Mackie and Jaron. It's really well done. So, two EMT scenes pattern of the cases that they wind up being ill, or and that they have packets from a drug around them that they're finding at these scenes, and it just spirals and becomes like more than you could like imagine. And I delightful. The one that I jumped on Netflix this week was another one from 2018. It unfortunately is going to be leaving Netflix in 2 days. They only have 2 days to catch, but it's called Assimilate. And not any big names you might recognize or me, and this I didn't. But it stars a lot of young people, and it's a bunch of young people living in this to create a web series of what's going on in their town. They start noticing people are acting strangely. Not too much away. Notice, and you'll get into pretty soon. You'll realize it. I think I've seen this before. Or wait a minute, I think they're good. And you'll see that kind of an homage, modern recreation, very, very famous, very, very fun side we all know and love. But they did some really interesting modern twists and are really, really at the end. And then lastly, Netflix just dropped today from writer-director Joe Payne a one called Stowaway. Now, if you remember back in 2018, there was a movie called Sick. It starred Mads Mikkelsen, and he was in a plane crash in the Arctic and he was surviving and whatnot. Also was written and directed Joe Payne, and I love that movie. Found out that he actually wrote Stowaway at the same, and he had planned Arctic to be about Mars. But then another about Mars came out. He said, "You know what? We're going to call it the Arctic." I watched that first. It just dropped today, and I delightful. And then going forward in the next weeks, there's other stuff hitting forms. I know on HBO there is a new Sweden series called The Nevers that pretty much just did. I've actually trial of HBO Max ready to go, so I can start that, and then I'm going to hit Shadow as well. And if you guys have questions, anything you want to check out in the future, please let me know. I love any ideas that anybody can send me. Thanks so much, guys. This was great.
Thanks for taking the time out. Thank you for being here and with us. We appreciate your input, and we're looking forward to next week. I know that you're going to have a nice setup. And also the blog, you do the blog for us as well on, what you've covered. And we always make sure we put that up as soon as you get that out. So we'll have that as well as a recap, and we'll review that. So very, very cool, Tara. Thank you for coming on, and looking forward to the next review. I know that I watched The Magicians, and I really, really enjoyed it, and looking forward to my second viewing. At some point, I'm going to go back and watch again. And both those movies, I was wondering about them, so I think I'm going to jump in and probably take some time and watch those. Jeff Anthony, thanks for joining us tonight live. Appreciate the support. So with that said, we happen to have a 10 centon spot with found colonies and fans. And we are lucky enough to have been able to reach out and arrange for our next guest to come on. And it's going to be a good one, guys. You're going to be surprised. I think those of you that are active in the current Battlestar Galactica 1978 forums and Facebooks and the like, you're gonna see this, and you're gonna be, you're gonna know. At least you've seen some of the pictures, you're going to know something about it. And so we're going to look into that. We're going to jump right in. So, Chris, I think that
cue it up.
Yeah. What the heck, man? Let's do it.
Ta-da!
And there we are, Robert. Thank you for being here. Battlestar Galactica Vintage Toys Collectors Group on Facebook. At least that's how I first came in contact with you. And you've been keeping the spirit alive and working on projects. So tell us about you, your site, and what you're up to, please.
Oops, my fault. Hang on.
Hold on. We have another CYLON glitch.
Now we're good.
There's a lot of sabotage going on.
There we go. Now we're good.
Now we're good?
Now we're good.
Yes.
I
Thank you, Rob.
appreciate
Come
you
on
guys
back.
having me on. I appreciate you guys having me on. This is great. As you mentioned, I am one of the admins of the Battlestar Galactica Vintage Toys and Collectors Group, and our site is primarily dedicated to the vintage toys, the Mattel line. You can find sale posts or just general conversation or great finds that people wind up scoring. Or more recently, I've kind of dominated the page with my 3D printed stuff, which is also geared towards the vintage toy line that maybe Mattel didn't quite get right.
Oh, agreed. Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, we have been watching and, we've been, kind of looking and admiring all of your work from afar, and we're just slightly closer. As a matter of fact, I just got to bring this up. Mediocre Modeler says 3D printers running in the background. I'm jealous. He says there's two of them, I believe. So he's jealous. But yeah, how about sharing a little bit of the background on why you put together the page and a little bit about what you're doing specific.
Okay, sure. Well, a little more background on the 3D printing portion. For my regular day-to-day job, we had a R&D center that had some 3D printers, and I didn't know anything about them, but they were available for everyone to use, so I figured, what the heck, I'm going to give it a whirl. And I always wanted to create a correctly sized Viper. So that was my first project. I started messing around with it, and it seemed like it was really interesting, so I bought one of my own, started doing it at home, and posted some pictures on Facebook. Next thing you know, I'm getting orders that I can't keep up with. So as you mentioned, I've got some printers in the background. I actually have 8 running right now, and I've downsized. Over the summer, I had about 12 going just to be able to keep up with the orders, but right now 8's a comfortable amount.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So you were saying that you're a collector, and I've seen some of your collections and pictures that you've put up on the site. But these particular pieces, there's a nice picture of some of your collection, man. Look at that, incredible. Oh man, it looks like they're mint too. Yeah, Lucifer and Baltar. Oh boy.
Notice
However,
you mentioned those are the first two